Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Bionicle Chronicles. On today's episode, I'm going to talk about the Dark Hunters and who they are. I'm also gonna try to be more analytical, as some suggested me to be on PC Power. I'm not gonna analyze everything, just some parts I might feel could have been better, but that don't make much sense to me. So let's go on. And as always, all the info is from Sector 01 and Bionicle Fandom and the Wall of History this time too. But let's go on with the story of the Dark Hunters. So the Dark Hunters are a band of mercenaries and bounty hunters under the command of their single leader known as the Shadowed One. The members are frequently known only by their codenames. They are specialized in theft and assassination, all in the name of profit. So the fundings, when did all sorted? All sorted when Ancient, a native of the Shadowed One's homeland, began a business of hiring himself out to whoever paid the most. The Shadowed One was inspired by the idea and approached Ancient with the idea of starting a business. The Shadowed One soon founded the Dark Hunters and took control of the island of Adina from its original inhabitants. And so, the Hunters began their long story of crime, stealing precious objects, killing Toa, making Piraga disappear, and recruiting new members through manipulation, force, treachery, and even mutation. They struck up a mutually beneficial deal with the Brotherhood of Makuta. The Brotherhood used their talents to modify the Shadowed One's agents to be more powerful and effective, make Rahi and loan out weapons to them. And the Dark Hunters gladly lent the services of their agents to the Makuta. So, next the story goes, the recruitment of the Piraga. Once, a winged agent of the Dark Hunters was dispatched to retrieve the Makoki stone from a heavily guarded fortress. The member later divulged some of his information to Skakti Hakan, who retrieved the stone with his partner Vesok before the hunter could reach it. Well, that was a little bit stupid coming from that Dark Hunter. I'm sure the Shadowed One eliminated him after that. Ancient later caught Skakti they were escaping and brought them to Shadowed One. Along with 4 other members of their species, they were inducted into the Hunters. Soon, 5 of the Skakti planned for the fall of the Shadowed One. Vesok and Saktan were able to get Prototype away from the fortress gate. Even so, they were confronted by darkness once inside. To punish the disobedient Hunters, the Shadowed One fired his eye beams at Saktan, but instead of disintegrating, the Skakti turned the mass of prototypes. So I think this thing of the Piraga trying to take the control of the of the Dark Hunters really show how the Hunters really were. They were not like a happy organization, to say that in some way. It was like an organization of slaves that worked for Shadowed One. So I guess there were constantly many members tried to overthrow him. I'm sure that happened, even though like in the story it's not like specified. And what do you think? Do you think that happened? Do you think I'm right or not? Comment that down below. So let's go on. After that, the Shadowed One soon set his eyes on the island city of Metronui, which was wanted by many. He unleashed the ancient Kanohi dragon on the city, but was defeated and shipped to Sia by Toalikan. I don't know if Sia is the correct way to say it. If you know the proper way to utter it, say it down below in the comments, please. I don't know. I say it like an S, Sia, but I'm not really sure if I'm right. Going on, the Shadowed One tried numerous other attempts, and when trying to kidnap Piraga doom failed, he declared war on Metru Nui. As the hunters massed on the island city, Toa now slipped past and brought other Toa to the city's aid. One of the Toa Mangai, Nidiki, thought to betray his comrades in exchange for ruling the city. He made a deal with one of the Shadowwood One's most trusted operatives, Lariska, and agreed to sell out the city. The Khan was spying on Nidiki, negotiated for the Makoki Stone with Hakan, and surrounded the hunters with reinforcements. Instead of forcing the location of Odina from them, he let them go back to their base and made sure that they took Nidiki along with them. The hunters later stole back the stone, split it into 6 pieces and sold them to the Brotherhood of Makuta. So I mean, this is like the saddest part of like all the world story. I think it's even sadder than the betrayal of Tuyet, because I don't know, it feels so bad that Likan is like left alone, like he's the only Toa. It would be nice that Nidiki redeem himself in some way. I think I would like that, but I understand that they didn't change that because the story wouldn't have been the same thing. But I mean, it's really upsetting that he betrayed his own brothers. Yeah, I would like that he redeemed himself, but what can you do? That story must be some drama somewhere. And so, going on with the story, several thousand years later, 3 hunters, Diki, Krika, and Eliminator, were dispatched to Metru Nui at the request of its Makuta protector, Teridax. The trio had to eliminate the Toa and find the Great Discs. However, he killed the first 2 to create a new body for himself. Cataclysm began. Suspecting for Nidiki and Krika's death, the Shadowed One and his loyal servant, Centrak, set out for Metru Nui. Voprak went with the pair to fulfill his mission of retrieving the Mask of Time and stole it from its creator, Toa Vakama. He then proceeded to attempt to eliminate Vakama's compensation for his hunter's death. Even so, Vakama managed to break free and revealed that Teridax himself killed Nidiki and Krika. This resulted in a fight between the Shadowed One and Teridax. The Shadowed One destroyed Teridax's wings while he was flung at Voparak and was aged several thousand years by Voparak's powers. And meanwhile, in the confusion of the battle, Vakama stole back his creation and headed for the surface. Due to Nidiki and Krika's death, the Shadowed One declared war on the Brotherhood of Makuta. After 1,000 years, 6 Dark Hunters decided to leave, renaming themselves the Piraga. Even though being furious at this betrayal, the Shadowed One was caught in a dilemma whether to split his forces to capture the traitors and the Kanohi Gnaika, or to keep the war effort. The Shadowed One eventually sent several Dark Hunters to Sagas, the Piraga's homeland, in the case they ever returned. However, these members were eliminated by Siglak, allied with the Makuta Spiria. Later on, when the Order of Matanui went to war with the Brotherhood of Makuta, Ancient, a spy of the Order, managed to convince the Shadowed One to ally with the Order. Their first task was to stop the island of Odina from supplying weapons to the Brotherhood. Shadowed One took this task a little bit too seriously, as he prepared to completely eliminate the Vortrix. Before the Toaga, who had been dealing with Rahi on the island as the Dark Hunters approached, were forced to confront the impossible odds of facing a complete Dark Hunter fleet, Helrix, the leader of the Order, arrived. She quickly reminded the Shadowed One that his task was to blockade or occupy Sia, not to destroy it, and threatened to annihilate his fleet if he failed to comply with her instructions. In the end, the hunters occupied the island instead of destroying it. While the Shadowed One was patrolling the island, he came across a lone Vortrix who was hiding one of Makuta Koljol's viruses. Shadow One killed the Vortex, and then after telling Ancient about the virus, he killed him as well. This is a part of the story I don't really like, because it doesn't make much sense to me. Like, why would he tell Ancient about the virus and then immediately kill him? Like, that doesn't make any sense. I think it's a pity that Ancient was killed, and I would like him to stay alive because he's such a great character, and he's also such a great mock or set. I don't know really what to call him, but the build of him is really cool and one of the best Dog Hunters in terms of the build. Also in terms of the story, it's really cool that he's like a part of the Order and of the Hunters at the same time. He's like a spy, so that's something really cool. The only thing I would change is to make him stay alive a little bit more, and maybe I would change the story in the way that the Shadow One wouldn't tell him anything about the viruses, and maybe would use them later on, and Ancient couldn't tell anything to the Order. Will be interesting from my point of view, at least. I don't know if you agree. If you do agree or think that you would change the story in another way, post in the comments. I will be very interested to know your opinion. So later on, the Baraki approached the Shadow One, offering him the knowledge of how to properly use the viruses he found. Shadow One consented to meet Piraga in Kasani. So, once Pterodax took over the Maturan universe, he sent a group of Rakshi to Aldina to attack the Hunters. However, Dark Hunters had moved to Sia, and after the death of Pterodax, many Dark Hunters immigrated to Spheros Magna, and in Spheros Magna, the Shadow One began to gather a new army of the remnants of the Dark Hunters and some natives from Spheros Magna. So that's what we know. As always, a pity that we don't know more and that the serials didn't continue, but I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. Comment down below what you would change about the story, if you agree with the things I pointed out. And yeah, that's basically everything. So give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, and all those things that always help in making a YouTube channel. And also share this video with your Bionicle friends. Yeah, don't want to make this video any longer, so goodbye everyone.